We got a full load here. It's 5:30 in the morning, headed to Illinois. We met up last night, got the trailer loaded.
We got Airbnb on wheels.
Yeah, we literally could Airbnb this thing out. We got this Ranch King blind. Headed north, then headed east. She's big, ain't she? I'm telling you, man, you can get you a blow-up mattress and put in there. I'm telling you, man, this would be our Airbnb. This right here is the start of one of our most miles covered episodes, I'm gonna say, in the last few years. Started in Tennessee this morning at 5:30. Drove up here to Illinois to get this Ranch King blind up and go pick the seed drill up, take it back to Tennessee for planting next week. So it's gonna be a cool day. Go ahead and get this thing in place. We got this thing, it is the Taj Mahal. Jake's got, he's already down half a Coke, so we know it's just already 3 Cokes.
I got some M&M's too for one.
Okay. All right, have a little quick shoot off here. I don't even know how far it is. If you gotta sit all day, this is the hut, the Airbnb blind. This is the Taj Mahal here. Look at it. He can't help it work. What you doing down there?
See.
You want the good news or the bad news, Gavin?
It's already bad news. I'm sure the bad news is that we got 9
hours. No, well, it's worse news then. We got 9 hours and 37 minutes. But the good news is we're going east and we pass the subway about 12 miles from here. So we've got our little first products, 5-foot seed drill unplanted, ready for use next week here in Tennessee. We got our blind set, camera's working. I just checked it, no deer yet, but we got everything rocking and rolling here, and we are headed east to kill a deer. The lightest load we've had, nothing behind her, so finally we are headed away from the sun.
There's a little buck.
See a little buck?
Yeah, right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, 2 little bucks.
Shoot her.
And turkeys. Look at all, there's your poults right there.
Yep. And our dove field, they are not scared.
Look at them little baby turkeys.
All right, see everybody in about 12 hours when we wake up. All right, good afternoon, folks. We have jet lag. It was weird. Everything was weird. Had jet lag. Ethan was walking around with knee pads on. We've had rain. We drove in 5.5 hours of rain yesterday, but we're about to do a walkthrough right here from by the air conditioning units, 35 yards of what a possible future prediction of where the shot's gonna be. I'm just guessing if he comes in there, he could be right at 35, because that's where all our feed's at.
Bullseye. Bullseye.
Look, I done busted about 3 airs going through that, hitting that cinder block. Man, it's humid. Let's go sweat. At least we'll be in the shade. But this is our second trip back to North Carolina. When I left last time, Ethan stayed hunting for a few days. He had great hunts, just nothing big enough come in range. But he probably had more action than we did where we're going in the hole in there. But it's had some weather come through, and we left for a few days, went home, and obviously had to get some work done, delivering some stuff and getting stuff set up. But after we left, this deer's been eating corn in this big woodlot pretty much all summer, and we don't want to do anything to surprise him. So after we left, Shepherd went in there and started dousing him with big tine, and then within 24 hours he was daylight. He's been daylight the last 3 days that the camera worked. The camera went out and did not work yesterday, the camera that Shepherd's got in there. So he's been daylight the last 3 days before then. I'm gonna take a Spartan and put in when we go in there now, but we need to break the ice here, the early season ice. We're getting toward the October lull, but it's still September, so maybe it'll happen on the first return trip. So everybody wants to know what happens midday.
A little post-edit lunch. Got to get the wheels going.
Went out this morning. It was a complete colossal fail. Everything got soaked. You know, Ethan stayed back, worked on the show. Been working the last 2 days, going to a spot not too far from where Ethan had hunted last week when I was gone. And went in there yesterday. The camera had died. There'd been a really good 10-pointer in there about 7 days ago, 6 or 7 days ago, and just went and it's in the middle of some big select cut stuff, so pretty neat. No telling what may roll in there, but there has been a couple of 8s underneath killing, so maybe tonight's the night. We're switching things up, not going where we were, north wind, and I don't know, we'll see. Ethan don't really know where we're going yet, but I don't know, I may call him Gavin anyway, because I hadn't told him we're switching everything up tonight, so he's on the stick. I'm gonna video him. He's gonna try to smoke the 8 or the 10 if he comes.
No way.
Oh yeah,
man.
I'm gonna get a whole different. I'm going back to painting pictures.
Oh, and what happened to the mustache?
What do you mean? It's been here.
You shave it?
No.
You trim it? It looked gone, the light, and that really scared me. I was like, what's going on now?
No, it's still there. So Ethan, I'm gonna film Ethan tonight.
Man.
I'm not saying I'm gonna do it with the arm. I'm freehanding it with the Sony.
Dude, that's awesome.
So, well, you know, there's two shooter 8s. There's a 10 somewhere. He wasn't on camera last night, but that don't mean he ain't close. But there's 2 8s that need to get whacked. So,
Heck
let's
yeah.
go kill some.
Maybe I need to get a mustache.
You want the good news, the bad news, or the breaking news?
Give me all of it.
Well, the good news is we're here. We're early.
Yeah.
Bad news is we weren't here yesterday because the deer was here.
Yeah.
The breaking news is I ain't gonna hunt.
You ain't gonna hunt?
I'm gonna film Ethan. He's up to bat.
He just let me know
Really?
that. This
Yep.
was breaking
dang.
news. I know.
Gotta make it happen then.
I know, I'm
A
excited.
little bit of pressure.
Super excited.
This is the spot I walked into yesterday. Changed the batteries. The deer was here last night. 2 shooters.
Well, here we are, the final day in North Carolina, day 10, last hunt, September 26th. And we have been here since the 17th or 18th, I think. Since we left off with me and Philip's first hunt together, where I was behind the bow and he was behind the camera, we have decided to split up and go our separate ways to increase our chances at this thing. Early season's tough and we have been having a tough time, although we've been seeing some really good deer. And I'm gonna recap a little bit so we don't bore y'all with a super long drawn out video of these hunts, but I have gone to the ground because we don't have another camera arm, so I have been doing the old ground and pound. My first day, I went to a field behind Shepherd's house where he had some people seeing some big deer in this big sweet potato field. Had a great hunt, had no deer come anywhere close to me in range, but right at dark, I caught a glimpse of some nice bucks and a bunch of does, but with the wind shifting and a big deer showing up on camera on another sweet potato field, Shepherd decided to send me in here. This would have been midday, day 5. Me and Philip came in here and we scouted out, trying to figure out somewhere I could put a ground blind. And after, looking into it and giving it some thought, we decided to play super safe, back off, build a ground blind about 80 yards from the bait pile where these deer were showing up. That way, hopefully, thinking the bucks would loop downwind of the bait, I'd be safe. And that first afternoon I sat there, I saw a bunch of deer. Closest deer came to the bait 80 yards and that was it. The next day the wind did a complete 180. I played it safe, went to the opposite end of the field so I didn't booger this spot up. Ended up having a super cool hunt, scouted my way in there, found a ground set up, built a blind, sat on some white oaks in the very back of this sweet potato field, and I ended up having 2 little bucks come in there and get real curious and get within like 10 yards, which was super cool. And then right at dark, I came out into the field since it was a little bit more light and put a stalk on a doe and almost got a shot on her. But she ended up seeing me draw about 35, 40 yards and got out of there. But the next afternoon is where it all went down. Day number 7, I came back to the original ground setup, and I'm gonna let that hunt play out because that was a super close encounter, an extremely awesome hunt, but an extremely heartbreaking moment as well. So let's get into that right now. Trip 2, day 7, North Carolina. I think today is it. I think this afternoon is gonna be the afternoon. Philip's going to a new spot where there's been some big deer already seen and taken from that area, so excited for him. It's been a fun week. We literally have been hunting. I think we've only taken 1 or 2 mornings off past 7 days, which this time of year, the mornings are tough anyway, so I'm excited. Shooter just stepped out. Dog. Come on, big dog. This way. He's 70. No. So as y'all can see, had an unbelievable hunt. 2 different shooters in one afternoon, super hot. One deer come out at like 5:15 and then come out again at 6, and then a deer that Shepherd hadn't even seen on trail camera showed up out of nowhere, plenty of shooting light, and walked 58 yards in front of me with another buck, and I watched them feed off into the sunset like a daggum Cinderella story. So that's the kind of stuff you like to see, especially putting work into scouting an area and figuring out the wind and putting a homemade ground blind. Hunting off the ground with a bow is tough anyway, and to have a mature buck within 60 yards of you that never knew you were there, that's an accomplishment. So that was exciting. That also kind of refueled the momentum of wanting to get back out here and hunt hard. So with all of that, having that close encounter, seeing that the wind was projected to stay the exact same for the next 3 days, which is what we had left in the hunt, I decided to move my ground blind the next day around lunch, get aggressive, get tighter to the corn pile, and I've spent my last 2 evenings here. And since I moved up to the corn pile, I've had some extremely awesome hunts. The first afternoon after that encounter, I had 9 deer in bow range at one time, which again is an accomplishment and awesome in and all of itself, but nothing worth shooting. And today is my last day. Wind is still out of the south. Big tine is still out there. I can smell it from here. And the good news is at 3 a.m. this morning, the Big 10 that I'm in here after showed up again after a week of being gone. He found the fresh big tine. Maybe he'll be in here before dark, but it's the last hunt, first doe that gives me a shot. I'm leaving North Carolina with some backstrap. Well, that's all she wrote. I'm soaking wet, everything's soaking wet, camera's soaking wet, my bag's soaking wet, my feet, my face. I might not be holding on to a deer, but thank you, Shep. Thank you, Mr. Rick. Thank you, Philip, for the opportunity to hunt. Shepherd opens up his place to us, and we've been living with him basically at his shop house over there. So thank you so much, Mr. Rick, letting me drive his 84 Ford 4-speed, which has been the highlight of the week probably. So, and running into that real big deer the other day. We fell short in North Carolina, but we're coming to Ohio. We'll be there Saturday.
God dang, you got it all over me.
Yeah, what is it?
It's high dollars what it is. You just spilled half of it. 4 or 5 deer.
Which one is?
This one here.
Oh Lord, we're gonna run them all.
No, we're gonna bring them all in.